Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on, oh dear, what is it, Wednesday the 5th of May. So, let's have a look at what's in store then. News-wise today, there's not very much. We've got bank holiday in Japan, China. We've got economic forecasts coming out in Europe today, throughout the day. I can't see a particular time there. I don't expect those to move the markets too much. ADP non-farms at 115, often as useful as a chocolate teapot, but we might see a bit of action. It's expected to come in quite large. ISM services PMI at 3 o'clock. Crude oil inventory is 330. There's a few things there that could create a bit of movement, but I'm not holding my breath on any of those. So let's have a look at the technicals. Oh, I should say before I look at the technicals, there is a lump of options, about a billion's worth of options sitting at 2050 on the euro. So that's the only significant one there for today. He says US dollar CAD actually is some at 1.1 at 2.3. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Right, so there is this at 120.50 area, so not a million miles away from prices at the moment, but it's a bundle sitting there. So technically then, I'll come back to the dailies as you talk about it then. Monthly pivot sits below at 1960. So that was a good year apparently. We've got a lower high being confirmed so it was confirmed yesterday really, and we're seeing yet another lower high coming through this morning on this 4-hourly bar, an outside bar there, bearish engulfing. Looks like we could run down there as well. I was sort of looking at 1960s where the monthly pivot is. We've got a S1 at 73, so there's some sort of target sitting below here. We're just breaking through these absolute lows here. It might just be a pre 8 o'clock break, and then let's just see what happens at 8 o'clock. And if we get a continuation, that could be a decent ride down there. Okay, so it's Euro World. The pound dollar cable, that's well, sitting a bit more positive this morning. Funny old day yesterday. It's much so choppy when you look at this daily. It was to draw a line, the regression line through this from way back here in 1st of March. It's probably almost a straight line across there now. The curvature and everything of this, well, I think it's a difficult one to read, especially with these spiky bars that we've been seeing coming through here. Makes it quite difficult, and you look at for a good part of yesterday, it was in a real chop mode and difficult. As I say, difficult to read, difficult to trade. Leave it alone. So easy that one. Maybe if it starts breaking to the upside here, but it's got an untouched daily pivot. Let's see what happens. I really don't like the patterns there. Better off. There's better days to be had on the pound. Dollar yen, obviously still bullish, he says. Yesterday pushed up a little bit better for me, and still expecting further upside here. Yes, we've got a weekly pivot, and it's potential at some stage it could come down and catch that, but for now, liking the potential if it breaks that 1950 area. Well then, sorry, 109.50 area even. Maybe that'll be a higher low. We could see more movement. It is to look at both sides of this. Of course, it is putting a bit of a Gartley pattern in there, probably around about that 109.60. It'd be interesting to see what happens there. It's a sort of a sort of good old Gartley would be around about that level. So maybe a roll, but I'm still bullish on a long position on that on this pairing. Intraday, well, it seems like every day is a bit of a game of two halves, one way than the other. Maybe it's up today to start with into these prior highs here, then rolling back, we'll see. But as I said, I can only look at that on a long-term time frame. The Aussie's not really changing too much here, is it either? I mean, I looked at the pound and said how choppy it is. Well, the Aussie really, you've got red green. It seems to be well, it's green today then. Oh no, it's red at the moment. It's really not. It still looks bearish to me on this 4-hourly. I mean, it's set up, it's had a bounce off the sort of maybe a 200 there, maybe something else, but it's got the sort of lower highs coming through it. It's to me, it still looks a bit bearish through its daily pivot. Maybe if we catch a continuation, it'll come back to that monthly pivot again. But very choppy going through the bigger picture. Canadian dollar consolidating where it is. Tried running for the monthly pivot. That could be if it starts pushing it up and breaks back through that 8, it could be a bit of a target. But at the same time, I'd be looking to. It looks like a nice place to short into, and when you come down, you see the 4-hourly pivots here, and you see 4-hourly pivot, weekly pivots. Looking at the monthly now, the weekly pivots. Price has literally gone in, caught that weekly pivot, and reacted. I do like it when it does this. Maybe the monthly pivot's out for now, but we'll see. It's had a reaction, a bit of run into a bit of resistance. Didn't even make the 50 there. Looks at some stage we will continue to the downside. We'll see how the week progresses, but for now, yeah, it's not tradable yet. New Zealand dollar, it's just easing off a little bit than the Australian dollar. Australian dollar's holding back a bit now. New Zealand dollar just rolled back, hit the monthly pivot, looking a bit more lower highs. It's a similar picture to the Aussie dollar when you look at it come down the time frames here. Does look like, well, it's got some potential continuation there on that time frame. So that's New Zealand. Looking elsewhere then, S&Ps. S&Ps, well, they had a bit of a down day then. Not quite catching into the monthly pivot. I was pointing out yesterday. A bit of support around that area, body wise, buyers coming back into that market as ever. It's just got that potential to always rally, but it's one thing it's done here is put a lower high in. We might see some further downside here. It's a very iffy market. It's not quite caught that monthly pivot yet. If it starts selling off, it becomes a target again. Just don't like being on the sell side of it at this stage. Okay, I'll leave that then on that basis. Gold's a bit up and down. Yesterday pushing up there. Tuesday pushing up there. Wednesday coming down again. Tuesday coming down again. I'll get it Monday up, Tuesday down, and well, perhaps today maybe more down. A double top yesterday into those prior highs. Just to me, it looks a bit ropey, and maybe we've got a further downside as we're looking at these markets and seeing the strength of the dollar this morning. I'll be surprised if that dollar strength continues. Well, further downside on the Canadian dollar, on the gold price there. Okay, that's pretty much it for there. Let's quick look at ye old Bitcoin. Let's have a look at the other markets off screen here a little bit. Let's just go to the dailies for this. Not interested too much. So that's a bit of a bearish little pattern it's done there. It's just literally, I mean, it's pushed through close, couldn't hold on to the gains effectively, and has sold back off again. That to me looks a bit on the bearish side. It's just swinging back there. Maybe it's got potential for further downside. Even Ethereum pulled off yesterday, but it's pushing up again today. Ripple's really following much more in Ripple and Bitcoin are pretty similar-ish in pattern. So there we are. Looks a bit soft to where we are at the moment on Bitcoin. Break back above the 57.06 area, 0.62. Maybe more bullish, but at the moment looking bearish for me. That's it, pretty much it. I wish you a absolutely great day, and I will be back. I'll be back soon. Take care. Bye for now. Tomorrow, that'll be it.